everyone, my name is Katie and welcome back to Royalty Soap. Today we will be crafting a brand new holiday soap that I have never made before called Yuletide. It is super pretty. It has 5 different layers and lots of mica lines. Also, I am so excited because I have teamed up with Ebates to bring you guys a $100 Visa gift card giveaway for you to use on soap making supplies or holiday gifts or whatever else your heart desires. Ebates is the largest online cashback website. I personally have been using them for about a year now. You guys have heard me talk about them in previous videos. They partner with over 2,000 big name brands like Ulta and Sephora and Amazon and eBay and Bath & Body Works to bring you guys rebates and coupons and promo codes 100% free. I'll tell you a little more about Ebates and how it works later on in the video, but if you want to enter the giveaway, simply follow the directions in the description box below. So without further ado, let's get soap making. In this bucket, I have 5 different oils. I have coconut oil, olive oil, castor oil, sweet almond oil, and palm oil. And in this container right here, I have distilled water mixed with sodium hydroxide, otherwise known as lye. When you mix these two components together, you get a little something we like to call soap. So what I'm gonna do is pour this lye water solution into the oils. Do not do it the other way around. You could literally end up with like a volcano of soap. I'm gonna scrapey out this container just to make sure that all of that liquid is into the oil bucket. And now I'm gonna blend this on low until everything has been emulsified. Now, Caleb, I know Lord would be exceptionally jealous of your singing abilities, but perhaps you could pipe down for like 5 minutes. I have split my batch into 5 equal parts in these white buckets. By the way, these white buckets, they're from Dollar Tree. And now I'm going to put a little bit of colorant into each one. So today I'm going to be using Mocha Brown Mica. That's from Nurture Soap Supplies. And then we have this one right here. This is Queen Catherine from TKB Trading. We have Vibrance Green. This is from Nurture Soap Supplies as well. Then we have Maya Gold in this container and Alpine Green, and both of those are from Nurture as well. Now, when doing a layered soap, I don't like to mix all of the colors up right off the bat, because once you add color to this batter, it starts setting up faster. So we don't want that to happen. So I'm going to put all the colors in there, but I'm not actually going to mix them up. Now that I've dumped all my colorants in, I'm going to take these 4 containers and move them out of the way because the brown is the first color we're going to be working with. The fragrance oil that we're working with today is called Christmas Wreath Type. This is from Nature's Garden Candles, so I'm going to add the proper amount of that into this container, and then we're going to mix it up with our stick blender. I've blended it up well with the stick blender, so now I'm going to run my spatula along the sides of the bucket just to make sure all the mica is good and incorporated, and then we're going to pour this into my 2 5-pound wooden molds. So here's my 2 molds. These are from brambleberry.com. Links to everything that I'm using today will be in the description box below. So I'm going to pour equal amounts of this soap liquid into both of these containers. It looks exactly like melted dark chocolate, but it actually smells like Christmas trees. Since we're doing layers, I'm taking the time to scrapey my containers now instead of doing it later on, because I can't have any of this color on top of the soap. And now that that's completed, it's time to move on to the Mica Line. To create a Mica Line, you're going to take this tea strainer. Any tea strainer will do, but ones that have smaller sections tend to work better. That way less mica can go through and make a big fat mess all over your soap. And then you'll need a mica that stands out really well. I tend to find that dark micas like a coffee color or gold micas work best. So all I'm gonna do is take this mica and put it in my tea strainer. The mica that I'm using again is the Maya Gold. And then I'm gonna gently tap all the way down the soap. And you'll see that the mica is coming out in a nice even way instead of in big clumps. So I'm gonna do this until the entire soap is completely covered up. I don't really wanna see any brown or else the Mica Line won't be thick enough really for you to be able to even tell it's there. I will also say that this does take a lot of mica if you're doing a line in between every single layer like we're doing today. Now moving on to this side, just all the way down and up again. And while we're doing this, the soap is solidifying at the bottom so that when we pour the next layer in, it won't move around and create dents in between the layers. Once you've put your Mica Line in place, you can take a baby wipe or a paper towel and just wipe down the sides of your mold. This is just to catch any of the mica that may have jumped up on those sides. That way, once we pour all the layers, it won't be completely covered up with a bunch of gold. Just like the previous layer, I have added in the proper amount of fragrance oil, and now I'm going to stick blend. A quick note about this fragrance oil: it doesn't accelerate your soap, it doesn't discolor your soap, and it doesn't rice your soap. So it's a really, really good performing fragrance oil. I have scraped down the sides of this container now. All of the mica is fully incorporated, so it's time to pour it into our molds. I feel like the hardest part of pouring your very first layered soap is always pouring the second layer because you're so afraid that it's gonna break in and mess up your Mica Line. So a tip that I have for you is to put your spatula very gently like this over your soap batter to sort of break the fall of your pour. So I'm just gonna put this to the side and gently ladle the soap onto that harder layer underneath. This keeps it from dipping in to the bottom layer there, and it just glides over very gently, leaving your Mica Line and your layer intact. Just gonna come over here and pour the second layer. As I'm doing this, I'm checking both sides to make sure that they're even as I pour. Just gonna scrape out my container real quick, get those last little bits in, and then I'm gonna tap these down to make sure that all the air bubbles come up. Okay, so while I'm putting this next Mica Line on, I thought I would give you guys some more information about Ebates.
So first off, when you sign up using the link below, you'll get a $10 welcome bonus when you make a qualifying purchase of $25 or more, and if you're a soap maker, that will be the easiest $10 you've ever made. Every 3 months, Ebates will send you either a check or a payment through PayPal, whichever you prefer, for all the cash back you've earned in that time period, and you can track your total either on a computer or through their mobile app if you prefer shopping on your phone. This week, they're offering promotions for Walmart, which is, by the way, a super great place for purchasing soap making oils and inexpensive equipment like measuring cups if you're just getting started. And it's worth mentioning that they also offer double cash back at select retailers each week, so you can save even more money at your favorite shops.
This is the Vibrance Green Mica, so I'm going to go ahead and blend it up with the fragrance oil. Then I'm going to wipe down the sides just like the other two portions. I'm using the same spatula that I've used for the other two soaps. I just make sure to wipe it off relatively well. You'll probably lose some of your timidity as you pour more and more layered soaps. And as you continue to go on, your soaps are going to get thicker. You can probably see here as I'm pouring that this soap is much thicker than the very first layer that I poured. And that's just because as soap sits, it starts to harden up even if you don't have any fragrance oil in it, and even if you don't have any coloring in it. I'm gonna gently bounce my spatula here on top just to make sure that the soap moves along to where it's supposed to go. I'm gonna do the same on this side. I still need to pour a little bit more into this side, but I thought it's probably more important to make sure that the soap gets all the way to the edge first before
before adding in the next bit of color. So once again, just gonna kind of bump my spatula back and forth to make sure it gets all the way to the edges. And then if you have some bumps on your soap, like I do here, you can tap your molds down either on your table or on the ground if you have like some concrete near you, whichever surface you have that's harder, to help smooth those out a little bit. So while it still looks a little bit lumpy, I promise the soap has smoothed out a lot. Those are just a teeny tiny bit of texture left on the top. I'm gonna put this Mica Line on, and then for the next two colors, I'm gonna go ahead and speed up the footage because it's roughly the same thing that I've done the last 3 times. And then I'll bring you guys back and start talking again whenever I get to putting the mica decoration on the very tippy top of the soap. Now it's time to put on the final layer. So I've waited until this layer has thickened up a little bit because we are going to kind of texture the top just a little. I'm gonna make sure that both of these molds are completely full to the brim. And then I'm gonna manipulate the soap here to make sure it touches all the edges. Just like this, all the way down. And again, I'm not really worried about it getting flat because the top is gonna be kind of textured anyway. Come over here to this side, do the same thing, all the way down. Now that all the soap is in the molds, we're going to add our pretty little mica drizzle on top. So before we like take our toothpick and sort of start texturing, we're going to add the color. So this is alpine green mica mixed with a little bit of sweet almond oil. Now if you don't have sweet almond oil, no big deal. Olive oil, canola oil, any oil that's kind of liquidy will work. So I'm gonna put a little stripe here, sort of just like this, all the way down the soap line. Now I have a little bit of that Queen Catherine mica. It's so pretty when it's in liquid form. And I'm gonna put this in dots down the middle of the soap. So these are very festive colors. They're the same colors we were using inside the Yuletide soap. So I'm just gonna put little dots like this. It's okay if you put bigger ones, smaller ones, doesn't really matter for this look. Then we're gonna put some of that Maya gold right here on the outside. I like gold on the outside just because I think it, I don't know, it just looks good. It also looks really pretty when it mixes with green, so I'm gonna put that right there. Then I'm gonna take that second bit of green that I have here. This is a little mixture of my own, and I'm gonna put it right next to the original green. And I am moving just a little bit fast, that way I have time to mix up these mica colors without the soap getting too thick. Great, so now let me get my toothpick, and we're gonna swirl out from this edge. So the gold is gonna go into the green and the red. I'm just doing this randomly. There's lots of really pretty swirls you could do. Just gonna pull from this side. I am gonna try to go through all the little red spots because I think that makes it look really pretty. Pretty much anything you could do on top of a dessert, you can do on top of soap too. Pull like this. Man, that red is just my favorite color. I'm gonna do the same to the other side. Just pull it out and swirl it like this. I'm not putting in my toothpick very deep into this soap because it is so thick that it might drag some of the soap instead of just dragging the color. But if you have thinner soap, you can be a little more forceful. Now that I have everything dragged to the side, I'm gonna take my toothpick and I'm just gonna swirl right down the center. Just like this. We're gonna pull a little bit of the gold, pull a little bit of that red towards the middle. And that's basically gonna be it for this soap. I'm gonna spritz it with some 90% rubbing alcohol
alcohol. That's pretty much available at any local drugstore. They all have 2 different types of alcohol. Oh, actually I changed my mind. I think I'm gonna pull some of these goldy bits even closer to the edge. Ooh, that looks so cool. Yeah, gonna do that on both soaps. Just kind of pull that here to the side. And we're done with this soap. So let's spritz it. We're not gonna add any glitter today. I don't want it to detract from this pretty design on top. So we're gonna let this sit for 24 to 48 hours, and then we're gonna come back and we'll cut up these bars. We are back 24 hours later to cut up our bars. So I'm going to line this up properly with the mold here. Then I'm gonna press down on my 18 bar cutter very gently. The Mica Line is really, really prominent. And then if we pull out one of the middle bars here, this is what it looks like on the inside. Here's a little close up so that you can see the Mica Line a little bit better. Caleb, can we get a question of the day?
Would you rather have tongues for fingers or a finger for a tongue?
What on earth? I honestly don't know which one is worse. Well, which one would you rather have?
Tongues for fingers.
Just because it'd be funny? Or because you'd never be able to taste anything again if you picked the other one? Because as far as I'm concerned, there's no taste buds on your fingers. Well, I guess I'd have to pick tongues for fingers too, because I really like the taste of important things like ice cream. If you would like to vote in the question of the day, you can click the I in the upper right hand corner of the screen. Thanks you guys so much for joining us today. If you enjoyed this video, you can click the I in the upper right hand corner of the screen. And don't forget to sign up for Ebates by clicking on the first link in my description box to take advantage of the Ebates Black Friday promotion and our giveaway. And until next time, we hope you have an absolutely royal day, and bye for now.